This episode is brought to you by Indeed. When your computer breaks, you don't wait for it to magically start working again. You fix the problem. So why wait to hire the people your company desperately needs? Use Indeed's sponsored jobs to hire top talent fast. And even better, you only pay for results. There's no need to wait. Speed up your hiring with a $75 sponsored job credit at Indeed.com/podcast. Terms and conditions apply.
Purina believes no one should have to make the impossible choice between their own safety and their pets. But nearly half of domestic abuse survivors delay leaving because they can't bring their pets with them. Through the Purple Leash Project, Purina is helping create more pet-friendly domestic violence shelters so survivors and their pets can escape and heal together. Visit Purina.com/purple to learn more.
This episode is brought to you by Nature's Bounty. Nature's Bounty believes your body is brilliant, naturally designed to thrive, inside and out. For those always looking for new ways to support your health from head to heels, Nature's Bounty has a range of over 400 vitamins and supplements born from 50 years of trust and care. Nature's Bounty. It's in your nature. Visit naturesbounty.com to learn more.
You're listening to Saucepans and Sidesteps.
Hello and welcome to this week's edition of the Saucepans and Sidesteps podcast. Joining me, Big M, as always, the one and only Mr. HG Rugby, Huw Griffin, otherwise known as Global Gainline. New name for you. How are you doing?
Yes, subscribe to the Global Gainline. It's where you can find the URC Rewind and other such podcasts. Search on YouTube now. Yes, thank you, Mart. I'm very well.
That's a great way to start it.
You got to get it in while people are watching. Still, yes, very excited to be here. Scarlets undefeated this weekend. Very exciting.
Oh yes, 0 points conceded as well. That's always a nice one to have when we come in on a Monday.
Absolutely. No, nothing to put me in a bad mood this Saturday whatsoever.
Nothing about you in a bad mood. But we'll get onto that sort of stuff later on. So we just dive right into it.
Yeah, Scarlet's game is cancelled.
Scarlet's game was cancelled. Yeah. Apparently, it couldn't land in Dublin or something.
Ooh, there's all sorts of people gotten all upset about this. Everyone's getting blamed. Getting blamed. Even the Scarlets got blamed for the flight being cancelled and that. All right, let's just run down a sequence of events as is public knowledge, and you can jump in and tell me if I'm missing something, then, mate. So the game was cancelled. So there was a storm over Britain and Ireland this weekend.
Amy.
Storm Amy. See,
you can tell it's evil when it's a female storm.
Yeah,
I'm only joking.
Yeah. And so the reason that the game was cancelled was because of travel disruptions to the Scarlets. The game was not cancelled due to the weather in Galway. The game was cancelled due to the Scarlets' flights being disrupted. I think the game was officially cancelled at like midnight on Friday night or something. It was late at night, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was pretty late. I think it was about just shy of midnight, because I remember someone posting in one of the WhatsApp groups about 11:30, so it weren't far off. So yeah. It was really late.
So the story goes that the plane took off and it tried to land in Dublin. Apparently it tried to land in Dublin twice, failed, and flew back to Manchester to refuel. By this time, the ladies and gentlemen had been on the plane for 11 hours.
Sounds about right.
The stories that we're hearing is that they ran out of food, they ran out of drink, all the staff had to be changed because they exceeded their hours. And then the emergency services had to be called because things started getting a bit out of hand. There was someone needed medical attention. There was someone kind of started panicking and trying to force their way off the plane. And then whilst the boys were still sat on the plane, the game was cancelled whilst they were still on it. And my understanding is that they didn't get off straight away once it was cancelled. They still had to sit on it for a little while. Yeah. So, first of all, it seems like a bit of a nightmare for the boys to all be sat on that plane. You know, England to Dublin is normally, what, a 45-minute flight?
And it's nothing. I've done Cardiff to Dublin before, and it is absolutely nothing.
and they were on there for 11 hours. So yeah, miserable for them. I don't know what they would have done on the Saturday, whether it would have been better to like come in and do a bit of training just to get some movement in the legs, or just go home, boys.
Nah, after being stuck in that confined space for 11 hours, stretch yourselves. Obviously, the ride back home as well, because obviously they'd have to got a bus coach from Manchester down. So you got to think you're being confined for that length of period. It's a case of get some proper rest, get some stretching you, maybe call them in the afternoon for like around 2-3 o'clock for some light cardio, just to get some blood going. Maybe see a bit of physio, a bit of massage for the ones who are actually on the plane. But other than that, I don't think a session would really be necessary.
The curious thing about this, Martin, that we don't really understand is that people were saying, "Oh, well, it's obvious it had to be cancelled," but Cardiff managed to fly to Munster to play a game on the same day. So don't know what's happened there.
Yeah, it's a bit peculiar. They obviously were on a different flight, or I don't know how they travelled. I'm assuming they went by plane because let's be honest, there's no chance of the ferries running with a storm like that around. By the time a storm hits and stops planes from landing, the ferries have probably been down for at least 24 hours.
Yeah, and the Sharks
Um,
flew down from Glasgow to Newport as well.
exactly. So it weren't really. We're not really sure what the actual issues were. The only way to find out is to just listen to first-hand accounts, unless someone at Dublin Airport is willing to divulge some information, which I doubt. Something that's been bothering me though through it all is because the boys wanted to get off the plane. They sought permission first. They didn't just get up and force their way off the plane. People are blaming them getting off the plane for the flight being cancelled, and I'm just sat here and going, well, that is the absolute worst case scenario ever for any airline cancelling a flight. If you told them you've got 40 paid seats, not exactly light people, the 4+ tons in people plus all their luggage off of the flight, you're thinking, hang on, we're saving a hell of a lot of fuel by here, and we don't have to compensate them for their tickets either. So I think that's a moot point. There's no way these boys leaving the plane had
Well,
anything to do
I
with
don't
it
know.
being
I don't know
cancelled.
how airlines work, but I'll just say again, it would have been 11 hours by the time that they deplaned. So it's not like they hadn't tried to get to Dublin. It's not like the plane was there at the end of the runway and they go, right, here we go, take off, boys. And then Tame Plumtree stood up and gone, I'm getting off. That's not what happened.
Even though that does seem like something I reckon Tane would do.
Yeah, you go, I'm going to swim to Dublin.
You know what? I think that's a challenge. Once his career is over, Tane, we know you're listening. We know all you boys listening. Charity swim to Dublin. You've got to do it now. I don't know your starting point, but Barry Port Harbour. There we go. I've done it for you. Barry Port Harbour for Dublin for some charity or what else. On the day you retire, 130 Wales caps behind you, probably a dozen Lions appearances at least.
Stop for lunch in the Isle of Man. Beautiful day out.
I mean, you bit of a trek, but yeah, why not? Why not? You're adding a few miles, but it's Tane. He can do it. He can do it.
So yeah, I would say that the whole thing was just one of them.
Yeah, it was really, really awkward, really unfortunate. And yeah, we now have to rearrange the game, which I don't know. What are your thoughts on having the game rearranged? Because on the one hand, obviously, we got quite a few injuries in some vital positions and
Yeah.
players missing. But then on the other hand, it's going to have to be arranged during an international break. So
Yeah, exactly. On the one hand, we have dodged a bullet with some
but
of
have
the
we?
injuries that we had. But if it's during the international break, someone asked me this and said, "Oh, you'll be during an international break, so you'll be missing your internationals." I was like, "Well, heck, we might be struggling to field a team." with a couple of injuries and a couple of international call-ups, it's like get on the phone to the academy time.
Yeah. It's like, for me, I do have to check what way round the Six Nations is now. It's dropped down to one break. I think it's 3 gap, then 2. If it is that way, then I'm begging it to be the week after the gap. So we have 3 off, 2 games, 1 off, and then we're just in for the season, because I think that would work best. But obviously, the powers that be will rearrange these fixtures, and knowing our luck, it'll be probably that second week where it doesn't help anyone at all, or it'll be a random week in November, and it'll probably be another storm. But there we are.
Yeah. Shall we just have a quick look at the team that was named? Because we can't analyze the game, but we can at least talk about this team, because there was a couple of talking points about it. Hang on, need to press some buttons by here.
There is.
So I guess the biggest talking point first off was Johnny Williams named captain, even though Cowdell was playing.
Yeah, I get it. I do. There was. Oh, you've got it up on there. Easier for me. I can't see my little tidbits now, though. I understand it. I think it means that Johnny is now the last contract he's picked up is for a good couple of years. I think that's what screams that for me. Secondly, Cowdell could have retired at the end of last season. He really could have. How many more years is he going to be doing this? Don't get me wrong, as long as he's playing to the level he is, he can stay as long as he likes. But at the same time, we got to be prepared for that eventuality. And we already know Johnny is one of the leaders. He's head of the cool kids table, so he's got some responsibility.
That's true.
On his
shoulders.
Very
true.
So it's only natural to develop more captains and leaders, because let's be honest, Josh is our captain. He has been tremendous. He played a lot of games last season, but last season was an anomaly. We have missed him so much over the last 5 years. It's ridiculous, just to say the least. So, developing more players, putting them in those positions, it's only a good thing. And, Johnny, I think he's 28 years old now. It's perfect. It works really well, and I'm quite happy with that. Like, I wouldn't. Yeah, I'm just looking around at the other names in the team that could have probably stuck their hand up for it. I wouldn't, if he was fit, I wouldn't have been surprised to see Sammy wear the armband. I really wouldn't.
Dwayne's hinted at that in the past.
He is a natural leader on the field and off it. I mean, look, him, like, obviously Joe Hogan's only just signed with us, but both of them being heavily involved with like the WRPA sort of things, it just shows the type of men they are. And obviously Sammy has run the show here for 2 or 3 years when fit. That he does need to be a big asterisk saying when fit.
Yeah, Jake Ball.
He's just come back. I say focus on playing at the minute. If he'd been constantly playing for the last couple of years, and yeah.
Well, coming on to that then, mate. Let's just talk about the makeup of the team. So obviously Alec and Henry Thomas in the props, no problems there. Harry Thomas, look, he's the future, got no problems with him starting. The only 2 fit second rows that we possess starting in the second row.
Only 2 fit senior second rows. We do have a couple young academy locks. We do have Dylan Alford, who is showing out for the Drovers with Gendron, and young Sam Williams, who's made his return to the game with Wanderers last weekend, which was brilliant because he missed like all of last season's 18s. I think he was named captain as well. So obviously he wouldn't be ready because obviously he'd just come back from it. And we have Kai Jones, who is even younger again, but he's getting minutes for the Drovers now, so that's great. But anyway, I'll let you carry on.
Okay, so back row, Jared Taylor, Dan Davis, Tane Plumtree. Not our best back row by any means. I think missing Josh McLeod is a big miss. We've said this many times last season. And then Joe Hawkins at 10. Part of me does want to see Joe Hawkins at 10, even though we know that Sammy's our number 1. I want to gather the data on it. Well, it's the bench for me that's the interesting bit, because you've obviously got Kirby Myhill, and then you got Sock and Hock on the bench.
Second week in a row. Boom, boom, boom.
And then you got Tristan Davis covering the row, which to me reinforces what we now know is that the Scarlets want a hybrid six. That's their plan. Someone who can play lock and blindside. And then you got Ocean Williams.
Yeah. This was the call for me. I didn't expect him to be named, to be honest. Quite honestly, I thought Ben Williams was going to be in there. It does kind of tell us what the hierarchy is, and the likelihood is now that Ben Williams, unless more injuries enforce, he's probably not going to play another game for us, which is, really unfortunate because he was absolutely amazing, during that, really terrible season a couple of years ago. Him and Teddy Leatherbarrow together were just, they were something else. But on to the young man, Oshan. This is his first year senior rugby. So, quite literally, he was playing Scarlets 18s back in February, captain in that team in the absence of Mr. Sam Williams.
The greatest under 18s team the game has ever seen, we should point out.
It is. They won it the year before, and they were like, "Oh, let's just relax for a year and have a throw about and still put on some thrashing." So fair play to him. So he made a handful of appearances for Quins at the back end of last season. Home club Carmarthen Athletic, of course. So he is a very local boy to Quins and to us. And I've heard a lot of people talking really highly of him. Euros Evans.
Mark, you never told me that the cameras dropped below the level of my laptop by here.
It doesn't matter. We're not here to see your face.
God's sake.
Jesus. So anyone around him has, really positive things to say. Really big. Like Euros Evans in one of his interviews said that he wouldn't be surprised to see Oshan in the URC this season. So it goes to show, he might have had a little bit of inside knowledge of the hierarchy of the system. I know Stefan Thomas at Quins has spoke really highly of Oshan when he's been playing for them. Because he actually played for Quins the week before off the bench, funnily enough. His first time back with the Quins this season. Looks like that's probably not going to be a case till at least December now. So for any Quins followers, really really unfortunate not to have Oshan in there. But he's moving on. He's moving up to bigger things, which is great. And I was kind of disappointed for him when the game was cancelled. I'm like, you're like 19 years old, like 2 weeks ago. How many opportunities do you get at that age to play, professional rugby, URC, top 14, whatever it is? They don't come along that often, and who knows what's going to happen between now and next week. So I believe our injury statuses aren't changing, so I fully expect him to be wearing that number 20 next week. But, I was gutted for the young man when the game was cancelled. I think it's such an opportunity to just put a name for yourself at that moment in your career as well.
Yeah. So that's the extent of the analysis that we can do on the Connacht match. Should we talk about a couple of bits of news then?
Who knows?
What news have we got?
Let's look at news. Marnus is coming back. Is that news?
Oh yeah, Marnus. Well, I suppose we'll talk about it a bit more when we do the Stormers preview. But he's now Rugby Championship champion. Congratulations to the Nethley Warthog. He's been linked to absolutely every club under the sun in terms of a transfer. He's been linked to that many clubs. It's actually making me start to think that he's not going, because literally every week it's someone different. I've seen in writing him being linked to Saracens, Stormers, Claremont, Munster, Sharks, and another one. There's a lot. Yeah.
I could understand Sharks, Stormers, Bulls, and Claremont. Don't really see the Saracens being thing. I can understand the three main apologies. The three main South African franchises and a big French team, because they love the money to do it.
Claremont playing well this season. Great rugby.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, they were a terrible watch last season, but they're playing some lovely stuff at the moment.
How is that fortress of theirs? Is it still a fortress or?
Well, no, not particularly anymore. It's gone are the days when they go 2 years between losing. But I honoured that team now. 17 home wins in a row.
Was it Kasim? Is Kasim there? Who's there?
No, he's left now. He's at either Biarritz or Beziers or something. He's back. He's gone down Pro D2. Former Scarlets, I think. What's his name now? Prop used to play for us. Bald, South African.
Schultz.
Schultz, yes. I think he still plays for them. Gareth Anscombe plays for them. I know he's not a Scarlet, but Welsh interest.
Yeah.
Herschel Janschis plays for them. Scarlet's legend.
Ooh, Herschel Jantis. He was instrumental in his 2 appearances in South Africa.
Him and Mike
As a-
Phillips. Them were the days.
As a 19-year-old, I believe, as well. So
That's my bit of incredibly niche trivia. You think this is niche? Like this is niche on another level. Who got the assist for Johan Nicholas's first ever Scarlets try? Mike Phillips.
Wow. No, in regards to Herschel, I was very proud when he got his first South African call up and caps. Like we played a part in that development. He wouldn't be there if it wasn't for us.
We gave him his opportunity. He owes us everything. So does Sasha Feinberg and Gomzulu, by the way. Owes the Scarlets everything, being a Llandovery boy that he is.
He is a Llandovery boy, so it's a shame that home does call to you. So it's fair enough.
Yeah,
it's fair enough.
Other bit of news that I'm gonna talk about it because I had that many people message me about it. I wouldn't normally have brought it up because people were asking me. I'll address it. So House of Luxury were again in the news, in the rugby news, because they tried to buy Coventry RFC, which is my local club. So we know that they did it. Simon Kozlowski has come out on Twitter and said, yeah, we did. And people are saying that this is a big worry for the Scarlets. And some people getting all het up and things. For me, this is a complete non-story. The House of Luxury said in writing in multiple interviews, this is the thing about House of Luxury, is that everyone says that they're so mysterious. When they came and took over, you couldn't move for them. They were on every TV channel, every radio show. We had them on this podcast. They had a supporters evening down at the park. They couldn't have given more interviews if they tried. And they said in all of those interviews and the press release that we're looking to put together a portfolio of sports clubs, i.e., we are going to buy multiple teams. And they openly told everybody that they were going to do that. They've clearly looked at getting Coventry. Coventry, one of the better English Championship teams, finished runner-up, I think, at least one of the last 2 seasons, maybe 2 seasons in a row. They finished runner-up to Ealing. Rugby heartland, obviously, in the Midlands in England, with Wasps no longer there's a void in Coventry to fill. So they saw an opportunity there. But the reason that they've decided not to proceed with the purchase of Coventry is because the Premiership Rugby are looking to ring fence the Premiership and get rid of promotion relegation, which would have totally undermined any business case for purchasing Coventry. And so they pulled out. And according to Kozlowski, who's put this in writing on social media, they never got as far as signing heads of terms or anything. So it's not like they've pulled out at the last minute. They looked into it, assessed it, and came away. And people are saying this is a worry for the Scarlets. I don't see how it affects us in any way. I don't know about you, mate.
No, I mean, there is nothing to really say, to be honest. They said repeatedly they were going to buy other clubs. They looked at another club, different
Pause for a
league.
second.
Can I help you? What's the matter, babe?
Okay.
You feel sick, do you? Go see Mommy. She's upstairs in the next room to you. Okay?
I already told her.
Okay. Well, do you want to go cut you on my side of the bed then?
Yeah.
You go cut you on my side of the bed and I'll be with you soon. Remember to put your glasses safe. Okay? It is now 9 o'clock bang on. We will work backwards to find when.
About 23 minutes in, we started at about 37.
Oh, it's quite late. Annabelle, out. Fuck's sake, John. Hey, you, out. Go check on your babies. Oh, that's one thing. Oh, well, get later. Won't do it now. Oh, there we go. I mean, yeah, I'm not really bothered by it. It is, like you said, it's a bit of a non-story. Yeah, they said they were looking at building a portfolio. They're not a club in the same league, league. Obviously, that could change eventually, but at this current point in time, it's a non-starter. I mean, you just look elsewhere. I mean, I know it's not a business, but you've got union-owned teams in Ireland, Scotland, New Zealand. One entity owns multiple clubs. You got Y11 that owns the Ospreys and Hurricanes.
Yep.
I'm sure they were involved with Cheetahs as well, weren't they?
The Ospreys have a relationship with the Cheetahs. I don't know whether that's to do with Y11 or not. I don't know.
I thought it might have been, but never mind.
Japan as well. Toyota own multiple teams. So yeah, I saw someone's post. You're not allowed to own multiple teams. Like, yes, you are. You have to get dispensation, but yes, it is very much allowed, and it is currently happening in rugby.
Yeah, I mean, for me, the biggest point from this is the English Premiership looking at ring fencing. I think that's the sad day. When you don't have a franchise or regional model like we see in the URC and in Super Rugby, promotion relegation is a necessity to keep interest and keep driving it. So I think that'd be terrible for England. Obviously not the top 10 English clubs or however many it is to stay in there, because they never have to worry about dropping out. I wouldn't be so bothered if they ring fenced the top 2 tiers so they still had promotion relegation within 2 leagues. I think that would still allow for some bit of jeopardy and fun for them. But obviously that's going on to a totally different subject now. But yeah, it's nothing. I think people are making more of it because Coventry put out that little statement saying they are with the Scarlets in this battle against the Union, and quite obviously, given what Simon Coslow blah 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 has said, they had no control or no helping hand in making that statement. I think it was just probably Coventry saying, we want to do business with you, sort of thing.
Yeah, it's just as likely that Coventry were trying to convince House of Luxury to go through with the purchase that they obviously wanted.
Trying to lick a certain area on the body.
Well, anyway.
As such.
Anyway, so we brought it up just because we had that many messages of people saying, "What do you think of this? What do you think of this?" I don't think anything of it. The only reason I'm speaking about it is because people asked.
And just to clarify, when we say people have asked, who is a diagnosed schizophrenic? So these are the people that he talks to when he's on his
own. Voices in my head asks me.
So does that bring us to the greatest part of this program?
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
I tell you what, in the SRC, when I saw the team sheets come out this week, I thought there's some reasons to tune in this week.
There's always reasons to tune in. It is an amazing league. The only caveat I do have to add is it is still new. It's only in the second season. There are still a lot of road bumps to go through. Like you see, with 3 weeks in, 4 weeks in, and we've got a week off. So the scheduling of the season needs working on because it's trying to balance between the pro game, it's trying to balance between the under-20s scheduling. So there's some balance to be had there, but we'll get it.
It's just me, but the screen share is not working.
Oh, okay, one second.
There it goes back. It's there. Don't do anything.
Yeah. I'm not doing anything. So I clicked there. Okay, so we'll start off in Super Rugby Cymru as we always do. So Carmarthen Quins, this was the second half of the, what was it? The derby round as such, so the double headers. So we had the reverse fixtures last week, so where Carmarthen did defeat Pontypool at Carmarthen Park. Unfortunately, they threw away a 21-3 halftime lead to lose 24-21. I can tell you myself that Stephen Thomas, Quinn's director of rugby, is absolutely fuming. And I mean fuming. He was really bloody angry that they'd thrown away. Let me see if I can just get where was
Hang
it?
on, hang on. Does he want to be quoted?
He has been quoted. Like we do this for the SRC.
Okay.
And yeah, he was just fuming at throwing away the lead. You know, they set piece, their scrum was so on top, and he just pulling a head out sort of thing that this game somehow got away for them. So 24-21, the final score. Still a bonus point in there, but still second game in 2 weeks. Obviously, same opposition, but no points in the second half. That is a worry for me.
Dear, oh dear.
Gabriel McDonald scored and converted his own try, which quite fun. I didn't know we could kick, but now we know we can kick. So, boys we had in this game, we had Ellis Price, Gabriel McDonald, Thomas Williams, and Johan Jones. On the bench, we had first team interest, Archer Holtz making his return to play, Rodri Lewis, and another person making his return to play and his SRC debut, the one and only Carwyn Leggett-Jones. So
it will never be the same again. Mark your diaries.
Yeah, I can let you know he had about 30 minutes in this game and he barely touched the ball, if I'm being totally honest with you. Just errors upon errors. Pontypool really, really dug in that second half. So, he enjoyed it. He had a good run out. So, happy days for the boy and hoping to see more from him. Yeah, he's had a concussion, which is why we haven't seen him any earlier. The other game, Llandyfri at home to RGC, beat them 41-31 up north last week. This week, it was 29-35 down on the 79th minute. And it took a lovely maul with Tian Sparrow getting over for the spoils.
The Tian Sparrow.
The Tian Sparrow. Only his second game for Drovers this season. He's worked his way back up after illness last season. And a steadfast conversion from Johan Hughes to nail the lead, get 5 points. Still no 6-pointers. Yes, there are 6-pointers in this league. If we haven't heard us talking about it before, if you win by 15 points or more, so 3 scores or more, you get an extra bonus point. Boys, we had involved in this one, and this is the second week in a row we've had, this many boys. So we've got Tom Phillips, Dylan Alford, Dan Gemin, Tian Sparrow. That's meant to be a G, not a H. That's Griff Watkins. Jack Davis finally back playing with the Drovers as well. On the bench, we had Jack Pritchard, the aforementioned Kai Jones, and Stephen Jack Jones. So him, Ellis Price, and Carwyn Leggett-Jones, they are the young 10s that we've got in our system for when, I'll be honest, I wouldn't be surprised to see one of them called upon sooner rather than later. Because let's be honest, Sammy and Joe is all we got at the minute. But yeah.
True fact.
That's where we are. Apologies to Griff Watkins for naming him Hiff Watkins, if that's what I was going for.
It's good to see, though. It's good to see have this many boys playing SRC.
It is. No, it is different because Drovers historically, and I say historically as in the last couple of years that I've been doing this and covering them, they don't have anywhere near this many boys in their side. Like, quite literally, Tian Sparrow was meant to be there last season, but obviously the illness. Dan Gemin was with Swansea and the Ospreys. Like, he's part of a wider academy. He's not in our full one, but, that's neither here nor there. Jack Davis has always dropped down. I mean, to see, 9 boys with Drovers 2 weeks in a row, it's like we used to seeing, between 5 and 9 boys with Quins. We generally are but to see that many with Drovers is as well, not instead of, is absolutely brilliant. We've spoken with Sned so many times. These boys need game time. They want game time, and we're seeing it. We're seeing it come through, which is absolutely brilliant. So down in the Premiership, Llangennech, how they didn't beat Neath is beyond me. They were leading 30 something, like I think it was like 20 odd point lead, and they just didn't get over the line. 33-30 they lost at home, but it does mean they're closing the gap, which for me that's excellent news in itself. I believe that's 2 points on the table. So watch out for Llangennech. They seem to be a challenge for anybody at home. Obviously, Callum Woolley playing his trade there. I think the Scarlets said he had a hat trick. I'd have to confirm, double check that in one of their reports. That's something I want to mention. The Scarlets have finally, after being badgered for quite a few years, they're finally doing weekly academy updates, telling us where these boys have played, etc. We now just got to get them to tell us on the Friday exactly where all the boys are. It's easy enough to find where Quinn's and Drover's boys are playing, but to get anyone lower down, you've really got to scour their socials, find out who's on Twitter, who's on Facebook, who's on Insta, who doesn't use anything at all, just to try and find, where these boys are actually playing. So, great on them. Great work, Scarlets Academy and the main Scarlets, for actually doing this and keeping us informed. I love it. Next up, we had Narberth hosting Llanelli Wanderers in somewhat of a derby. Wanderers walking out at 22-14 winners. Sam Williams, we spoke about him already. Second appearance for the Wanderers, grabbing himself a try in that game. Well done, my son.
Good to see the Wanderers get up. Is that first win this season?
I'm not going to click off this screen because that's going to bugger me up.
I think it is.
You think it's their first win? I don't know. I think they've had a win. I don't know. Let's be quick. La-di-da, I'm being so quick, so fast. I'm running out of steam.
The table quickly. The Welsh Premiership.
Yeah, I think that is.
Oh, see, should have just believed me.
Yeah, but that's the first league win. Did they win in the cup? That's the question. Scrolling over, he goes, and yes, they did. They beat Narberth in the cup last week.
So they beat Narberth
twice. Yeah, so it's another one of them. It's going to be like, I hope they haven't replaced Newcastle Emlyn in being a bottom of the table team last year, but they've done a double over Narberth. They now have to go back to Stradey Park and beat them in the league, and they've done the triple. So, interesting one this week. So, and this is a proper local derby. This is Llanelli Wanderers against Llangennech. That's going to be feisty. That's going to have fireworks. And if we got Sam Williams on one side and Callum Woolley on the other, they got to have a scrap. They just got to a second row and a wing. It just seems so nice. They're probably friends in the academy, but the different clubs. You got to do something, boys. If you're listening, if anyone's listening, tell them they've got to have a bust up. It is what it is. Be done with it. Narberth don't get a game because, of course, for some reason, the WIU gives odd team leagues. Well done, WIU, as always. Okay, Championship West, Keanu Evans, Ammanford, 30-25 winners at home against Kenvigill. Really solid result, that is. Kenvigill they put like 60 points over on Crymych, and then Crymych were like, yeah, we're not playing you in the cup. So did a decent outfit. So well done there. Newcastle Emlyn falling short 33-24 away to Casainan. Crymych losing 39-14 away to Gowerton. Fixtures this week, we've got Ammanford travelling to Bonamine, Crymych at home to Tondi, Aberystwyth away to Kenvigill. Aberystwyth going well also this season, so be interested how that game plays out. And Newcastle Emlyn at home to Gleneath. Now into the lower leagues, we've got One West, Vellenvold 25-12 winners at home to St. Clair's, Kidwelly 21-39 losers at home to Swansea Uplands, Lampeter winning 34-17 away to Larne, Buryport 44-41 winners away to Wanalaith, Hendy 40 points to 30 winners against Tenby. Cracking result.
Is there an NB derby? Is there a name for that? Hendy versus Tenby.
NB. I think you might have made that. If there is something, then please people share. But
write in and tell us. Comment below.
I've never heard that. Buryport at home to Wellinville this weekend. That is another local derby. Then we got Lambert at home to Wenalaith. We got Larne at home to Kidwelly. Hendy travelling to St. Clair's, and Tenby hosting Swansea Uplands. Let's go down. We're going down. We've got Division 2 West. Aberaeron Command Athletic was postponed. Unfortunately, Betos losing 7-42 at home to Lucha. Nancaredig 33-19 winners away to Penclouth. Ticroes losing 5-21 to Pringles Bont.
Shout out Pringle.
Where is Pringle? We've lost Pringle.
We don't know where he is. International Pringle.
International Pringle has been lost. He's probably been stuffed in someone's luggage and left somewhere. Shame. We will find you, Pringle. We haven't forgotten you. Fishguard 37-20 winners away to Whitland. Fixtures this week: Carmarthen Athletic at home to Ticroes. Fishguard travelling to Lucha. Aberaeron travelling to Nantgaredig. Whitland travel to Pencloud. And Betos also away to Ponta Delice. So 2 West Central. Brynaman lost 22-11 away to Morriston. They get to host Neath Athletic this week. 3 West, and we got an interesting fact by here. So Huw's New Dock Stars, 57-5 winners away against Army United.
Easy.
And I understand why it's easy, because you've got a certain Jordan Williams starting at 10 and your captain. Now, it was only by chance that I clocked this. So if anyone already knew this, why didn't you shout it out to us? Because we love seeing players like this, same as like Gavin Henson with Pencoid. You had Craig Mitchell with, I want to say, Tondi. We love seeing, pros going down and playing for their clubs, especially in these lower leagues. I happened upon a New Dog post where they said Jordan Williams had kicked X amount of conversion. I was thinking, that can't be, can it? And wow.
It was.
He doesn't take the greatest of photos, but
no, he does not. He asked to play. He begged. He said, "Please, can I play for the famous New Dock Stars?"
Well, yeah. Now the pipe bin on the road is all fixed, and they can actually use the pitch. Why not? Why not play? Okay, back to 3 West. Tumble winning 2014 away to Cardigan. 2 postponements: Havford West against Neyland and Narberth Athletic against Milford Haven. And the final game, Llandilo winning 32-15 away to Trim Saran. Games for this coming week: we got Milford Haven at home to Army United. Trim Saran travelling to Narberth Athletic. New Dock Stars, Huw's New Dock Stars, hosting Havford West. You know what? I think New Dock are on for back-to-back promotions here. I really do. Neyland hosting Cardigan, and Llandilo travelling to Tumble. Down in 4 West Day, Pontyberem 25-7 winners away to Penrith Dock Harlequin. St David 60 points to 5 winners at home against Llanybudder. Tydal Crymych, whatever way around. 24-12 winners at home against Llangam. And Dreigiau Emlyn 25-5 winners away to Tenby Athletic.
I know it's a long way off, but is it possible for Newcastle, the Dreigiau and the Prophet Emlyn to be in the same team league?
Well, yeah. Obviously, now they're entering them, it is possible for seconds to get up and the first to drop down or wherever. There is something interesting that I've picked up from this, is the fact that, in the league, you can transfer, you can permit 4 players from any team. You can permit 4 players from any team any way you want. But between your first and seconds, you can do 6 players, first and seconds. But in the cup, you can't permit players from your first down to your seconds, which I kind of get, and I agree with. Imagine if, let's say, Merthyr or Neath or Pontypridd had a seconds in, I know 5 or 6 East Central, whatever it is, over in their sections. Imagine sending 6, let's say, your entire front 5 and number 8 down to play in those. You just walk it, wouldn't you? So I get that, but it is interesting fact. But you can send players up from the seconds to the first, and they not be cup tied. So if the seconds have a bye on week 1, the first one, you need a few extra bodies, you can send them up and they can still play
So
lower
are we
down.
saying we need World Rugby to investigate Newcastle Emlyn for multi-team ownership?
I think you're taking this a step too far now, Hugh. Really, this is a step too far. We're gonna have to cut this section. Oh my God, producer Lee is gonna have so much work to do. He's already cut out one section from this. For all you listeners, if you saw a little jump earlier, it's because my youngest had decided to make an appearance, and Hugh was like, "We're not having children on this podcast." Like, whoa, but just chill out. But there we go. So no, there's no investigation into Newcastle Emlyn. Leave him alone. So fixtures for this week, we got Drigg Emlyn at home to St. David's, Pembroke at home to Langham, Pembroke Harlequins at home to Tidal Crimmock, and Tempe Athletic travelling to Ponteberem. For West B, Binya 1916 winners at home against Pont Yates, Furness 23-16 winners at home against Fall Bay, 2 postponements here, Llandibby against Tregaron and Pantavannan against Llangadog. Last game, Pennebank 27, Kev Nathan 12. And final fixtures in the seniors, we got Kev Nathan at home to Fall Bay, Llangadog at home to Binya, Pont Yates at home to Llandibby, Tregaron at home to Pennebank, Pantavannan and Furness has already been postponed. I haven't checked into why that is. It's
Gotta be a wedding.
It's probably a good reason. Do a shield action. There was meant to be fixtures in the Bowl West, but obviously the weather has had its way. But this coming week, Aberavon against Pembrokeshire Schools is meant to go ahead on the 10th. So that's Friday. So that is in Aberavon, wherever that may be. So if you're in the area, you fancy a game to watch on Friday night in the blistering cold, well, not blistering cold, it's still autumn, in the mild cold, head on down, support what boys you can. So that brings the absolutely amazing community section to an end. We all clap, we all cry. There we go. So that brings us on to our final bit of business, which just so happens to be the Stormers. Boom, boom, boom. What are we thinking?
Well, so the Stormers are 2 from 2 so far in the URC. They beat Leinster and then they beat some other team. Their name escapes me. They have 2 bonus point wins. They're such a frantic team. Like there's no structure to them at all. There's no process to them at all. And they just score these crazy tries out of nowhere. They make a lot of mistakes. But they win, especially down in Cape Town. But lucky for us, they're not playing in Cape Town. They're playing internationally.
Yeah. So the question I need to ask is, we are getting Marnus back. Now, I know Stormers don't contribute massively, if many at all, to South Africa. But are they expecting anybody? Like Sasha, I doubt he's going to play. And is it Lebok? No.
No, Lebok's moved to Japan now. So it's the Stormers Springboks are Sasha, Kobus Reinach, as of this season, he's yet to play for them, but has signed for them, and Damien Willemse. And I am told that the Springbok Stormers are not going back to South Africa. They are hanging about up here waiting to meet up with the Stormers when they arrive. Whether that means they're going to play or not, I don't know, because all 3 of them have started at least the last 2 games, maybe even more than that, maybe started the last 3. They've had a lot of game time. So I would expect them to have a week off.
At least.
Maybe they might be on the bench. We don't know.
So how long? It's probably been an idea to actually pull.
I don't think we've actually beaten the Stormers at the park yet.
No, we haven't. It was 26-21, I want to say, when Stormers won the league. And I can't remember off the top of my head what the other result was. I don't know if that's for my benefit right now or not, but
it was last. It probably might even be our worst performance of last season.
Yeah.
It was neither side played well, but we played even less well than them, and they had that try where Josh McLeod fell over and they just ran under the sticks on the post.
Yeah. So Stormers are on their 3-game tour. So they've got us, then they are over in Italy for a doubler, basically. So
Nice for them.
I don't know. Maybe I'll be honest. It should really be a 4-game tour because they got Munster away in round 6, but obviously we got the Autumn Internationals in there, so we've only got a
Well, that's
5.
the thing for some of these Springboks is that they come back, they play a Northern tour for 3 weeks, and then they're straight back into Springbok duty, who are also playing in the North. So they're not going to go home for like a month and a half longer. For the whole of October and November, they're going to be up in the North.
Exactly. So that round 6 is literally the 29th, 30th of November, off the top of my head. So they're going to be here for a long time. So I wouldn't be surprised if those boys did actually give Scarlets game a miss. He says, hopefully. South African teams are always a different entity when they travel, especially travel north, I should say.
Very much so.
But we've shown in victories over the Bulls, we've shown in performances against the Stormers, against the Sharks. We can beat these teams. We can perform against these teams. It's just breaking that first duck, and yes, we are struggling a bit on the injury front. We don't really have a proper, full-fledged 23 to name, but I think even 20 players, I think we can do it. I think we can get a win against them.
I think we can do it. Their scrum is very, very, very good. That's the one thing that I can say about them this season.
Eesh.
So we need.
I'll be honest. I've looked at this scrum, and obviously I haven't looked like super in depth. I haven't watched each individual, and I've gone through. I've seen some of them. I've looked at this stats, and they win penalties. Now, obviously, for some reason, that's what a lot of these stats companies rate a successful scrum on, is how many penalties they win, but they also give away a fair few as well. So they seem like the type of team that live on the edge where that is. They really push their luck. They try to force that penalty, which obviously has the other caveat of conceding penalties as well. So it's an interesting battle, to say the least. We like clean ball. We don't want penalties as a general rule of thumb when it comes to a scrum. We want clean ball. We want to strike a first phase move.
Yeah, exactly.
So where they are the complete opposite. So it is going to be a battle. It's going to be I would imagine the same front row. So when it comes to actual pushing power, they're going to have the edge. We do have a misbalance in our front row, but with Harry Thomas being there, he is short that he hasn't quite bulked up to the full size he will eventually be. So there are some caveats in there, but when you're talking Alec Hepburn and Henry Thomas, they are old heads. They know how to scrummage. They know how to have a bit of fun, to say the least. So I'm very intrigued to see which way the whistle blows when it comes to this part of the game, because it's going to be fun, and it's going to be a really, really good watch, to say the least.
Yeah, Similani as well, their fullback. Need to watch out for him because he's played well.
Is Hartzenberg a Stormer as well? Because he's been dangerous.
I think he's been playing in the centre last couple of games. I think. I might be thinking of Zas. Can't remember.
I've watched him a few times, and he has been a danger, and he's been lovely to watch. Unfortunately for us.
So it's a Friday night game, which I know isn't ideal internationally because obviously most fans are driving a fair bit to get to the game, so it's a late finish. But there's a fair chance that you're going to see, if not current world champion Springboks, then future world champion Springboks play in this game.
You're backing the Springboks to go again? Jesus, how? So that's a bold call.
Best team in the world, Matt.
How many years Steve Tandy is going to have a World Cup winners medal?
Who said that?
I think you said it. I'm quoting you. It was in one of your All Things Rugby articles, or it was on your HG Rugby YouTube show.
I absolutely never said that.
But people go and look, go and find it. If you've got to watch every single video, read through every article, then so be it. It is in there, and then we can catch him out.
Yeah, it came up in my recent podcast all about North American rugby, but you have to watch the whole thing to find it.
Yeah, it's like we can't tell you where it is, but it's like it's in individual words throughout. So there's one at like 5 minutes, one
You
at
have to
10
crack
minutes.
the code.
You do. It is.
You don't just spoon feed you these things. You need to work for it.
It's a cipher. You will get it. I actually heard that the Zodiac Killer was his grandfather, but there we go.
You need to download it, play it backwards to all your friends. Make sure all your friends are subscribed, and then you'll hear it.
You can tell the Scarlets haven't played a game when we're talking shit like this. You really
we've
can.
really filled an hour though.
We've done well. We have done well. Apologies to anyone who thinks we haven't done well and should have had this banged over in like 20 minutes. But there we go. You've made it this far, so like, share, subscribe.
Anyway, Scarlets by 2.
Oh my God, Scarlets by 2. Come on, bit of faith. Scarlets by 9.
All right then.
All right then. Are we going to have any surprises next week in terms of selection? Are we basically expecting the same 23 bar in the Marnus edition?
I don't know.
Marnus is back, so he'll be starting. So yeah, that's scrum battle again.
Yeah, the thing with Marnus is he hasn't had a break, but he also hasn't actually played that much either.
Yeah, I mean, I think we'll find time for him in December and January or we give him the whole Six Nations off. That's an option because that's 6 weeks. We could I don't know who we got during that period off the top of my head, but that's a good option actually. I think we'll go with that. Dwayne, Marnus plays every game until the Six Nations. Give him the block off.
Full 80.
Oh no! He needs minutes. Don't be mean.
Oh, okay. Do you think Costello might be back?
I mean, concussion, broken nose.
It's possible.
I mean, it's going to be funny to see him wearing that protective bloody thing on his face, but yeah, he could possibly be back. I mean, you can't name Johnny captain 1 week and then drop him to the bench the next. I don't think you can do that to someone. So it could be a case we see the same, 14 of the same 15 Marnus comes in, and we see Sammy on the bench. That's very possible. See how Joe goes. We really haven't had a proper run out with him at 10 against, a fully fledged team. So, and let's be honest, South Africans, you need size. So having basically 3 big carriers in your centers and 10, that could work. You bring Sammy on with his running game and this for the last 30-35 minutes, or even the half. Can work.
Yeah.
I think there's a game plan in there somewhere.
Yeah.
Somewhere. Okay, have we wrapped everything up?
Yes.
Yeah, so just shy of an hour. Thank you for listening. As always, like, share, subscribe, do your thing. And just for anyone who is listening, you might have noticed we've done a sort of little video on Newcastle Emlyn these last couple of years around January time. We seem to have gone to a bit of an arrangement where we sponsor the matchday ball. So anytime you like, share, subscribe, we're not getting much money. We're getting like pennies, but we'd invest in this money back into community clubs. We got a soft touch for Newcastle Emlyn, but we would love to do that with a lot more clubs. So if you haven't subscribed, please do it, because it makes a massive difference, and it could make a massive difference to your club as well. And on that note, thank you very much, Huw, and we'll do it all again next week, celebrating the Scarlets win. You said 2, I said 9. What's 3 now? By 5.5. There we go. We split it down the middle. Good night, everybody.
Yeah.
That was Saucepans and Sidesteps. Please rate, review and share on socials if you can, and join us again next week for more of the same. And until then, enjoy your rugby.
This podcast is part of the Sports Social Podcast Network.